Greetings everybody, GameTrog here, and in this video we're going to show you how to hook up the Super Nintendo, or SNES, using a RCA Composite cable. To do this, we will need a power supply, the SNES 002 or a replacement. We're going to need a Super Nintendo, and we're going to need the RCA Composite cables. Alright, before we get started, let's take a look at the input jacks on the back of the Super Nintendo. First thing we're going to see is the AC adapter port. You will also see a channel 3 and 4 switch. We're not going to be using that. There's an RF out port. We're not going to be using that either. And we will be using the multi-out port for the audio video. Now let's talk 1 second about power supplies. Most of the third-party power supplies you get today come with 2 jacks on them, a smaller one and a larger one. The smaller one is used for the regular Nintendo or the NES, and the larger one is used for the Super Nintendo. A lot of these power supplies come this way. You just take the large power supply and plug it into the AC adapter in port. You can leave the other one hanging. Alright, we can also test the Super Nintendo at this point by just plugging it in. No need to hook it up to a TV yet. And let's throw the power switch. We get a little LED light on. We know we're in good shape. Alright, we've got the power supply done. Now let's hook up the AV cable. So an RCA cable, or composite cable, has 3 RCA cables on it. A yellow, a white, and a red. Yellow is the video, white is the left audio, and red is the right audio. So the two together give you stereo sound. On the other end, we have the standard Nintendo multi-out connector. You'll see there is a little notch on this connector, and that goes up when you plug it into the back of the Super Nintendo. All we have to do is flip the system around, and this will plug in very easily into the multi-out port. You're good to go. Alright, let's look at the back of a TV. Now, all TVs will be different. This particular one has all kinds of AV options. You'll see at the bottom we have some red, blue, and green. These are for component, and you won't be using those. You'll be using the red, white, and yellow. And here we got 3 options. AV1 and AV2. You'll also see that these have a black port there, and that is an S-video port, and we're not going to be worried about that either. This particular TV has 3 input options, and we're going to go with input 1. And you'll need to remember that when you start to look for your game on the TV. So these cables will plug very easily into the ports, and you just match the colors: yellow, white, and red. Now that we have the cables attached, we're almost ready. Next thing we need to do is plug in a game. Let's go with a classic, Zelda. Alright, let's grab the remote for the TV, and what we're going to be looking for is the input button. Now, it could say input, or it could say source. Either one of these buttons will cycle through the input options that you noticed on the back of your TV. Now that everything is hooked up, let's turn the Super Nintendo on and the TV on. Then grab your remote and start pressing the source or input button to cycle through the various inputs on the TV. Once you see your game, you're ready to go. Troubleshooting the Super Nintendo. One neat thing about the Super Nintendo, turning the power button on locks the cartridge. If you can't depress the cartridge flap to insert a cartridge, it most likely means that the power supply is pushed up. You simply need to push it down and you're good to go. So a lot of time with these older cartridges, if the game doesn't look right or doesn't work at all, many times the cartridge just needs to be cleaned. All you need to do is grab you some rubbing alcohol, grab a Q-tip and dip it in, and then there's a blade on the bottom of the cartridge. Just scrub both sides of the blade back and forth with the Q-tip to get rid of all the dirt. Now try it again. That should have you up and running. If you have any questions, you can reach me at GameTrog.com.